Welcome, everyone, to the La Cosmetic podcast. I'm your hostess, Monique Ramsey, and today I'm super excited for everybody to see who's in our studio. We've got the beautiful and fabulous Laura Cain from the Laura Cain After Dark podcast. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Monique. How are you doing? So glad to be here.
Oh my gosh, I just love this. So we are going to kind of wrap back around to it's been 2 years since you had your surgery with Dr. Swiston. And so it's been a while since we've had you on the podcast. And how's your podcast been going, Laura Cain After Dark?
Okay, first of all, I can't believe it's been 2 years already. Second of all, the podcast is going great. You've been on the podcast several times, and we always love it when you come on because you tell us about the latest and greatest things in cosmetic surgery, and we always get super excited about it, and we want to get everything done. But 2 years later, I've got to say that my life has changed for the better because of the surgery that Dr. Swiston performed on me, which was breast augmentation. And, sometimes things happen for a reason, right? But like I kick myself because I go, why did I wait so long to have breast augmentation? Because I know I always wanted it. As a matter of fact, when I was in high school, I was flat and always have been small breasted. And my mom used to sew padded bras into my bathing suits before they even made those kind of bathing suits because I was just super shy and embarrassed that I didn't develop like my friends had and everything. And living with pads and the cutlets and the this and the that for years and years. And I've always wanted it, but I guess, it's divine intervention. You guys came into my life and then Dr. Swiston and it all came together and it's just been fantastic. Literally I want to say 2 days after surgery, which this is probably not advised, but like I went out with my girlfriends and like people ask me a lot of times, like, did it hurt? What was the recovery like? And I'm like, you know what? I don't remember any pain. I don't remember taking anything serious, like major pills. I remember taking like ibuprofen 800 maybe, or like Tylenol, whatever the highest Tylenol is. But it was just an seamless. I can't even, there was not even one downside of it at all I can think of. My scars are not even visible. They look so natural. In fact, I was just at my mom's house for Easter and she's like, you just look so good. You just look so incredibly natural. And that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, exactly. And you are a tall lady. And so it's like you want the size to fit your frame and feel natural, And I think probably going your whole life up until 2 years ago, not having a big chest and you still don't have a big chest, I feel like it just fits you. It just seems like they were always there at that
I know.
size. I mean, they were always there, but at that size. And
truly.
how long do you think did it take for your brain to sort of wrap around that you have them and then to just sort of forget that they're just a part of you?
Okay, I don't feel like anything is in there. I don't feel like they feel so incredibly soft and so real. Like my brain doesn't comprehend that I even have something foreign in my body at all because it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, it's like
It's
at the
really
beginning,
great.
right? Because at the beginning, you kind of feel like, okay, they're there, and you're sort of fixated on this new sensation. And then
Right.
at some point, it's just integrated, I guess.
It becomes completely natural and there's no scar tissue has formed in any way, shape, or form. 2 years later, I think they've settled in perfectly. They're perfectly sized. They're the same exact size. They point in the right direction.
Yeah,
Dr. Swiston is a
it's the little
master.
things, right?
Right? I mean, sometimes women have those problems where one points one way, one points the other way, one is
Yeah.
bigger, one is smaller, one hangs lower, one is higher.
Well, yeah, and you bring up a really good point. Most women's breasts are asymmetrical. They're not perfectly exactly matching. And so
Mhm.
sometimes when you have a breast surgery, that's something that can be corrected. They
Mhm.
can maybe use one size slightly different in one side than the other. We did some episodes recently with a few patients of ours talking about the size that they got, and like one was maybe a 265 on one side and a 295 on the other, and it's totally, that's
That is
how
exactly what happened with me, and he needed to do a lift on one side because
oh
one of my, nipples was a little bit lower than the other one, so he did a lift on one side, and one was a little less cc's than the other one, so he really tailored it to match to match it perfectly, and it worked perfectly, and I love the fact that you have the when you go in for your consultation and you have the sizers, and so you can put them in the bra. You even have little t-shirts that say La Cosmetic Surgery Center on them, your little logo. It's so cute. And they're tight, so you can see what it looks like,
yeah.
with a tight t-shirt. And if you want to go bigger or smaller, it that was like really helpful. And, some women want to go big, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people would rather be on the more natural side, which is what I wanted. So people don't think that I even have ever had anything done. These are just my natural
Don't
boobs.
you? I love that. I love that
Yeah, I love
because,
it.
and it's not that you're embarrassed about it because obviously you're talking about it, but
Heck
the
no.
fact that it isn't something that's like screaming at you,
Right.
where people are like, oh, what,
But if you want that, some people do, and that's
right, right.
fine.
And I think at different points in our lives, we have different needs or wants. And, sometimes it's going to be something on the bigger side. And then later you might choose smaller or vice versa. I mean, and that's what's kind of nice is that you have that time at the consultation with the surgeon to talk about size and sort of what you're looking for and to try it on and with the little sizers, and then we also have the Vectra 3D imaging. And so when you did those kind of the sizing and what you ended up with, was that pretty dead on of what you were looking for?
Absolutely 100%. And you know what? I was really impressed by the amount of time Dr. Swiston, like the surgeon, the guy that was, he's busy, and he spent a lot of time, a lot of time answering my questions thoroughly, like more than I could ever imagine. And I was almost like felt guilty, like taking so much of his time, but he's just so incredibly professional. And, I know Dr. Salazar, I know all the doctors here are the same in their integrity and the way that they talk to patients and their time that they spend. I mean, he answered every question I had and then some, and made me feel completely 100% comfortable. Even when I was going into, though, actually, you documented my whole
Right.
journey,
We did.
and it's on, isn't it
I
on
think we've
YouTube or something?
yeah, it's on YouTube, and we'll put that in the show notes because
Oh,
it
yay.
was really fun to kind of follow you along. And we
Yeah.
also did 3 episodes on the podcast 2 years ago, sort of a before, immediately after, and then sort of maybe a few months later. But, it's good to kind of come back and say, "Okay, after all this time," like you mentioned your mom saying how great you looked, and would you say I don't know if you had any issues with friends or family being supportive or not supportive. How is that has time changed any of those opinions?
Well, no, my our moms would say, "Well, you're beautiful the way you are," but then you say to your mom, "Mom, there are some things that I'm self-conscious about." And you know this, Mom. I've always been self-conscious about my breasts and the size and the way, I'm a tall girl. I'm not big. I'm big girl, but I'm big boned, and they just didn't fit my body. And then she was completely on board and 100%. The only thing she worried about as a mother, of course, is like going into surgery and that whole thing. But I'm
Right,
like,
right.
don't even worry. Like, I'm in the best hands possible here. Don't even stress. Like, so she was really, she's 1000% on board now after seeing, how happy I am, how, I mean, I love the fact that I get to order bras that have no padding in them at
Mhm.
all. In fact, I found some old pads, like the ones that come in bras or they
Oh,
come in
yeah.
like those little bralettes. And I found some old ones in my drawer and I was like, I'm tossing these things. I don't want these things anymore. I found my cutlets and I'm like, bye
Bye.
bye.
Exactly.
Later on.
Where else can I use these?
I know,
Um,
right?
so how fun has it been in the last 2 years to sort of have your style, I shouldn't say change, but you have maybe some more options than you would have considered prior to surgery?
Sometimes, when I do our podcast, I'm like, I'm gonna sex it up a little bit. So I do a little bit of a V-neck and I put my bra, or I don't, a lot of times I don't even wear a bra. I just wear like these things that cover the nip area.
Uh-huh,
So
uh-huh.
a lot of times it's just my natural breasts and with a shirt over it, obviously, but I just try.
Your podcast is after dark, but we're not that far after
No, we're
dark,
not
right?
exactly.
No, not in the dark.
Um, but I like to show them off. I like to show I have a very nice cleavage now, I feel, naturally, and I think it looks really good, and it
Yeah,
makes me
and
feel good about
as you
myself.
should. I mean, you're such a feminine, fun, I feel like your personality is so fun, but you're fun and girly still,
Yeah.
and it's like you having those curves allows you to, you can show that off.
Heck
And
yeah.
so one other question I was thinking about with your podcast is, you're kind of a big deal on social media. And here in San Diego, you're like a legend because everybody knows you because you were on Jeff and Jer way back when. And then, you're on iHeart and people hear your voice all the time. Then you've got your podcast following. You were even on one of my favorite shows, 90
Oh
Day
my god.
Fiancé. You're on 90 Day Fiancé. I'm sitting there watching at home and I'm like, oh my God,
Did you
there's Laura.
die?
I died. I died. I missed the memo. And so I'm just sitting there, watching as I do on a Monday night. There you were. And and you just looked incredible, incredible.
Oh my gosh, and that was one of the nights where I was wearing a dress that was low cut because I got to show off the girls because I knew I was gonna be on national TV at some point because I'm friends with one of the women who is a cast member on that show. And so we went out as friends to a La Jolla restaurant and Manhattan, La Jolla,
Yeah,
the piano bar.
I live right down the street. I would have come
Oh,
crashed had I known.
I know. And so that was like really great. I mean, I don't want to say that these breasts have propelled my career, but in a way, I feel like it has definitely helped because of my confidence.
Mhm.
Because I'm like now I'm like I feel like I can do anything, and I know that might sound a little bit strange saying, "Oh my god, breast implants make you feel like you can conquer the world." Well, I'm sorry, but yeah, I mean, I really feel like I am that much more confident about myself, my body, my posture, the being the age that I am, I feel younger having like, perky breasts. It just
Yeah.
feels good and it's really making an impact in my life still.
And I think you're touching on something so critical is that, yeah, it doesn't mean like this one thing is going to change your life forever, but in a lot of ways it does because of how you carry yourself, because of how that confidence. And so sometimes it's a new haircut and sometimes it's, weight loss. And sometimes, like for me, I've lost 47 pounds over the last few years. And I feel like going into my closet, I pick something and I feel much happier and then I'm carrying myself in a different way and I'm showing up in a
Exactly.
different way. And I think surgery does the same thing. I think it just gives you that extra little edge inside that makes
Yes.
you maybe show up differently outside.
Perfectly said exactly what I was trying to say. Yes. It
And
just makes you just carry yourself differently and it
mhm.
carries it follows through different aspects of your life for sure.
And have you had, I can't remember. I feel like there might have been a few haters back at the time, but have there been any comments about your body over the last 2 years or any comments about whether supportive or not supportive?
No, I don't, because you know why? Because I'm so upfront about it and I'm so honest and I'm proud of it. I'm not hiding the fact that I had surgery. I never wanted to. I always wanted to be upfront because I think any woman who feels like they want to change their lives or want this surgery should be able to do it and talk about it and not feel like it has to be a secret. And so
Mhm.
therefore I think I shot down any haters that wanted to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I think I would
Yeah.
have gotten more of what had I been more secretive about
Right,
it.
you were trying to pull one over on everybody
Right. And
or
no.
something, and it doesn't really matter, it's like
Doesn't.
we do what we wanna do for ourselves, and everybody
Exactly.
else doesn't really matter, but,
Doesn't.
it's a real thing, and especially with such a public persona that you have out there.
Oh, I
Now
get hate in other ways, but not about my breast implants. No, I have not. I don't remember hearing anything about that other than good things from other people. Really good things.
Oh, that's nice, and
Yes.
have you had over now it's 2 years behind us, have you had any did you have at any point any regrets or doubts about, like, "Should I have done this or not done
Oh my
this?"
God. No, the only thing that I regret, and again, I'm glad that I waited because of having it done here, is that I didn't do it sooner, you
Mhm.
know? Like, I
That
didn't do it when I was in my 20s but it wasn't meant to be because it was
right.
meant to be here,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that is what I believe. So,
yeah.
it was meant to happen, and I think I was meant to be a public figure talking about it openly so other women would feel more comfortable having it done and talking about it as well.
Now, if yeah, and if there's anything you could say to yourself 2 years ago before you had the procedure, what would it be?
It would be get this done as soon as possible. It's gonna be the best experience of your life, and talk about it more. Talk about it, write about it, write a blog about it, to help other women because I know if I am somebody who has always wanted it but was afraid of what people thought were going to think about me, or afraid of, the surgery part of it, which I wasn't ever afraid of that, but I was just
Mhm,
afraid of what people would say. I'd be like, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I am so happy and that's what shows up in my life
mhm,
and that's what matters. And so if you're thinking about it and you're thinking, "Oh god, I don't know what is my mom going to think or what is my like sister who's like so judgmental going to think about?" So what? Who cares? It's
yeah,
you. It's your life. You want it done. Do it. It'll be the best thing you've ever done. You'll be so freaking happy whether it be, breast augmentation, 360 lipo, a lower facelift, eyelids. Uh, Do it. Do it and do it now.
yeah,
And I love the fact that you guys have like a finance plan.
mhm,
So people like, oh, I can't afford the whole thing up front at once. Well, that's solved,
yeah, yeah,
solved.
yeah, and I think that, when you're considering making a change, you want the support of those people in your life, and you're saying, well, like, I remember, I mean, in my early 20s I wanted liposuction. It was sort of new then. That's how old
Mhm.
I am, but it was sort of new, and I was like, I just really want this because I'm only 5'1", and I was carrying a lot of weight below my waist, and so I just felt like I had these thunder thighs, and
Right.
so, but even though I work in the industry, I was worried about what my mom would think.
Mhm.
Exactly. And we
Mhm.
do carry that around. And so I think one thing to do is if you have somebody in your life, well, you can just say it doesn't matter what they think, which is
Mhm.
true. But you can also, maybe it's a spouse or partner, bring them with you for the
E
consultation
exactly,
because
that's so
that
yes.
helps get them feeling comfortable. It's not so much about do they approve of what you're doing, but do they approve of this whole thing? Is it, because usually it's coming from a place of like, is it safe? Is it,
Well,
are
yeah.
these good people that you're going to go through this experience with?
And
And so
chances are these people don't know anything about the procedure you're talking about, and therefore
Mhm.
they're immediately negative about it, you
Yeah,
know?
they just saw it on YouTube and
Right, or they see or
TikTok.
right, or horror stories or something, it's like,
Yeah,
no, 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 no,
yeah.
no, no, no.
Right. And so I would encourage people to just think about that and have that person maybe come with you for your
Mhm.
consultation, or you have your own consultation, and then maybe at the place that or the doctor that you choose, that you have them come back for like a quick recap consultation, because people can do that. You can have one and you can come back again. We
Right.
don't make you stay away. You can come back
Right.
and sort of like, hey, can I do that sizing again? Or, I just want to make sure I haven't forgotten any questions. We
Yeah.
are happy to have you come back if you have more questions, because that's the key to being able to go forward with something, is to feel comfortable. And you don't feel comfortable until you trust what's the people around you and what's about to happen.
Yes.
So, all right, one more question for you, Laura,
Okay.
is if you're thinking ever about having another thing done, yes or no, and what would it be?
The answer is yes. And I was talking to Dr. Salazar at a party, and he was talking about this thing, and you were talking about it on our podcast too,
Yes,
Ellacor.
Ellacor, right.
And about how, like, sometimes as we get a little older, we get the little gobbledygook that we're not liking as much. And maybe it's not so prominent that you need a full lower facelift, but you just want it a little tighter. That's what Ellacor is, right?
Yep.
And that is something that is not necessarily super a lot of downtime, it doesn't sound like. It sounds like
Yeah.
it's something that is right up my alley.
I know, because we have to, make sure that we're cognizant of your filming schedule, right? Yeah.
Oh, and
When
I'll do it. Hey, I'll do it with the whole whatever. You know what? I don't care what, I would do the whole process, on camera.
Yeah.
Again,
Well, oh, you're so nice.
I
Well,
would.
it's yeah, Ellacor is a very cool procedure, and it's like micro needling. So you can think about all those little needles that are going to
Mhm.
go injure your skin, but it actually is extracting a core of skin. So it
Mhm.
extracts up to 8% of skin in that area. So say you did around your lower face, neck, mouth,
Like, mhm.
then what happens is then your body heals up that wound, and you think about all those little holes and they just sort of close up. It's helping to shrink the skin a little bit. And you do that procedure, usually they recommend 3 times. So you would, maybe a month or 6 weeks apart depending on your schedule, and then that helps, with that lower face and neck, because it is sort of a can be a tricky area to address, especially in older people. So my aunt Marie, and she's been on our podcast, and she just had her third Ellacor.
Oh,
So
really?
she did two last in the fall, and or summer and fall, and then she just had her third because she's about to be 80 years old.
No, she's
And she's
not.
yes, she is. And she's had her facelifts, and that's a plural, and she talks about it. But there's not always something that can address this area around your mouth and
Right.
and the lower face, because a facelift, you don't want that really pulled, like to get to those wrinkles you'd have to pull so far, that this is sort of a nice little invention of targeting an area, and it can be used anywhere on the face and neck or the body in theory. So but we're one of only 50 practices that has the technology, and so they want it only in the hands of plastic surgeons and surgeons that they trust. And so all of our surgeons are trained on it. And so they did another little session on her last week. And yeah, it's already looking really good. So yeah, that's a fun thing. We'll stick that in the show notes as well. We have a few different episodes about Ellacor, and
Excellent.
we'll throw those in there. And then yeah, so thanks, Laura.
Anything for you guys. I love La Jolla Cosmetic Surgery Center. You guys have been like, I feel like your family, and you have greatly enhanced my life. And I can't thank you enough for just everything you've done and just being a part of my life. I feel like we'll always be friends, and
Yeah.
I'll always be cheering on La Jolla Cosmetic. I will scream your name from the mountaintops because I
Oh,
believe
that's
in
so
you so
nice.
much. You're the best in town. We're so lucky to have you guys in our backyard, and people from all over the California come down here for La Jolla Cosmetic Surgery Center
It's
because you guys,
true.
your
It's true.
reputation is so
Oh,
good.
well, thank you. And that we work really hard on that. And
I know
we're
you do.
coming up to 36 years in San Diego in July. That will be celebrating our 36th year. So I've only been a part of it for 32, almost 33.
My God, that's
But,
rad.
we do take it really seriously, and we do, having patients who come back, they have something at one point in their life and then they, have kids or they move on to some other thing that they're doing and they come back for a little touch up on this or that. And so it's wonderful that we get to see that relationship with our patients over time. And just
Yep.
like here we are 2 years later. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
I
So
know. Once you're with La Jolla Cosmetic, you'll stay with La Jolla Cosmetic, no matter what it is. You get
yeah.
done.
And I think, our surgeons are just so great with partnering with each other. Sometimes they might say, I'm not the right person for this procedure. See my colleague, and they'll refer to each other too. So, that's a good thing. But
Yeah.
before we leave, I want you to tell everybody how to follow you and your podcast.
Okay. It's super easy. My website is lauracainafterdark.com. And we're also on YouTube, Laura Cain After Dark, Instagram, Laura Cain After Dark. Just Laura Cain After Dark everywhere. And you can find us on Spotify and iHeart. Just where you can find the La Jolla Cosmetic podcast. Anywhere you can find there, you can find Laura Cain After Dark as well.
And you guys are such, I don't want to say a kick in the pants because then it shows
We
that I'm
are.
56, but it's so much fun.
We're
You
crazy.
guys are hilarious. And Eric, your sidekick, I'll call him just the sidekick, Eric Rimmer. He's
No,
so
he's the
much
talent. We call him the
fun.
talent
Oh,
because he
he's the talent?
shows up 5 minutes before the show begins, sticks on the head. Guess who does all the work? Me.
Yeah. Well,
he's the
so
talent.
fun. So
He
you
is the
guys
best.
are, and he was thinking about getting his eyes done. So we'll have to follow up with him on that. And
Yes.
we had a funny conversation about Kenny Loggins that he didn't want. Wasn't it Kenny Rogers?
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers. He
I
goes,
go,
I don't want to look like Kenny Rogers. I'm like, why would you?
I go,
maybe that's the facial hair. I don't know.
I don't. He wants those bags gone. He has bags under his eyes. I'm like, just get rid of them. Dr.
Yeah.
Reader can do it. Anybody in the office can do this procedure, and you're gonna look refreshed. You're not gonna look like Kenny Rogers. He had his whole face pushed back
like 5 times.
Right.
That's a whole nother day.
That's a whole nother thing. But yes, we're gonna get him in here for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, Laura. It was really fun to speak with you and catch up with you. And
thank you.
I just can't wait to be seeing you again on my big screen in my living room.
I know. Well, we'll see. There's some things in the pipeline I'll let you know about.
All right.
When I can.
Okay. That's right. Well, we will catch up with you then. And everybody, thanks for listening, and look in the show notes for a bunch of fun links, and we will see you all on the next one. Thanks.
Bye.
Take a screenshot of this podcast episode with your phone and show it at your consultation or appointment, or mention the promo code podcast to receive $25 off any service or product of $50 or more at La Jolla Cosmetic. La Jolla Cosmetic is located just off the I-5 San Diego Freeway in the Ximed building on the Scripps Memorial Hospital campus. To learn more, go to ljcsc.com or follow the team on Instagram at ljcsc. The La Jolla Cosmetic Podcast is a production of The Axis, TheAxis.io.